Can you believe this country was once ravaged by war? The country's economy has transformed from an impoverished nation in the 1980s to a lower middle-income country today, with a GDP per capita of around $3,700 in 2022 compared to just $1.98 in 1986. Vietnam has become a manufacturing hub, attracting major multinational companies like Samsung, Intel, and LG to set up operations in the country. Vietnam has made remarkable progress in reducing poverty, with the poverty rate dropping from around 58% in the early 1990s to just 5.8% in 2020, according to the World Bank. This means that over 45 million people have been lifted out of poverty in just a few decades. Vietnam has become a major exporter of goods, with exports accounting for over 100% of its GDP in recent years. Major exports include electronics, textiles, footwear, and agricultural products. Foreign direct investment, FDI, has played a crucial role in Vietnam's economic growth, with the country attracting over $20 billion in FDI annually in recent years. The war years. The war years for Vietnam refer to the prolonged period of conflict that the country experienced, primarily the First Indochina War, 1946 to 1954, against French colonial rule, and the Vietnam War, 1955 to 1975, against the United States and its allies. Widespread bombing campaigns by the United States and its allies resulted in the destruction of cities, villages, roads, bridges, and other critical infrastructure. Economic activities were severely disrupted, and the country's agricultural and industrial sectors were crippled. It is estimated that over 3 million Vietnamese people were killed during the wars, including countless civilians. Millions more were injured, displaced, or subjected to torture and trauma. The extensive use of chemical defoliants like Agent Orange by the United States led to widespread environmental damage and long-term health consequences. Unexploded ordnance, UXO, and landmines continue to pose risks in many areas, hampering development and causing casualties even decades after the wars ended. In the aftermath of these devastating wars, Vietnam faced the daunting task of rebuilding its infrastructure, economy, and social fabric from the ground up. The country's resilience and determination to overcome these challenges paved the way for its remarkable post-war prosperity and development. The road to recovery. In 1986, the Vietnamese government launched the Doi Moi renovation policy, which marked a significant shift towards a market-oriented economy. This policy introduced economic liberalization measures, such as relaxing state control over businesses, encouraging private ownership, and opening up to foreign investment. Land reforms were implemented, allowing farmers to have long-term use rights over land, boosting agricultural productivity. These reforms were a bold and unexpected move for a communist country, but they paved the way for Vietnam's economic renaissance. The government established special economic zones and industrial parks, offering incentives like tax breaks and streamlined regulations to attract multinational companies. The development of deep-water ports, such as the Kai Mep Thi Vai port complex, facilitated international trade and logistics. The government also prioritized rural infrastructure, building roads and bridges to connect remote areas to urban centers and markets. Vietnam recognized the importance of investing in education and human capital to drive long-term economic growth. The government increased spending on education, focusing on improving access to primary and secondary education, as well as vocational training programs. Initiatives like the Fundamental School Quality Level program aim to improve the quality of education, particularly in rural areas. These strategic decisions and policies, coupled with the resilience and hard work of the Vietnamese people, enabled the country to achieve remarkable economic growth and development in the post-war era. The government's willingness to embrace innovative and market-oriented approaches while maintaining political stability played a crucial role in Vietnam's transformation. The transformation, modern Vietnam. GDP growth averaged around 6-7% annually over the past few decades. GDP per capita rose from $1.98 in 1986 to around $3,700 in 2022. Total trade value reached $668 billion in 2021, up from $14.5 billion in 1990. FDI inflows exceeded $20 billion annually, In recent years, urbanization rate increased from around 20% in the 1980s to over 37% in 2021. Major cities underwent significant transformations with modern infrastructure. Examples are Hanoi, Haiphong Expressway, Not Tan Bridge, Tan Son, Not Airport expansion. Exports grew from $2.4 billion in 1986 to $336 billion in 2021. The maternal mortality ratio declined from 139 per 100,000 live births in 1990 to 43 in 2017. The under 5 mortality rate dropped from 53 per 1,000 live births in 1990 to 21 in 2020. The net enrollment rate in primary education reached 98% in 2020 with gender parity. These numbers highlight Vietnam's remarkable economic growth, as well as improvements in key indicators related to women's empowerment, child health, and education. The future, looking ahead. With its strong economic foundations, strategic location, and a young and dynamic population, Vietnam is well positioned for continued growth and development. The country's integration into regional and global value chains, coupled with its commitment to reforms and attracting foreign investment, could propel it towards becoming an upper-middle-income economy in the next decade. Additionally, Vietnam's focus on developing its technology sector, promoting innovation, and investing in human capital could drive the nation's transition towards a knowledge-based economy, reducing its reliance on low-cost manufacturing and natural resources. However, Vietnam's growth trajectory is not without its challenges and obstacles. The country faces environmental pressures, such as air and water pollution, deforestation, and the impacts of climate change, which could hinder sustainable development if not addressed effectively. Despite these challenges, Vietnam's resilience and determination to overcome adversity should not be underestimated. Throughout its history, the Vietnamese people have demonstrated an unwavering spirit, overcoming war, poverty, and countless obstacles to achieve remarkable progress. This same resilience and adaptability will undoubtedly serve the nation well as it navigates the challenges of the future. With its strategic location at the heart of the dynamic Southeast Asian region, Vietnam has the potential to become a pivotal player in regional and global affairs, leveraging its cultural richness, diplomatic acumen, and economic prowess to forge strong partnerships and influence. Vietnam's story is a great lesson in power of resilience. From the ashes of war and devastation, this nation has risen like a phoenix, defying all odds and shattering expectations.